Oh, that's right. There's no intro.
No, there's no intro. All right, what is going on? Anybody and everybody, whoever's here, which is nobody yet, but someone will be here eventually.
Yeah. Either way.
Yes. So, if you're tuning into this, you probably saw the thumbnail that I made, and you're probably like, "Oh no, what is this?" Well, this, and I warned Dan before we started. My irritation level on this is like at an all-time high. It's like through the roof because this kind of crap just annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But before we get going with that, we'll go ahead and give our disclaimer first.
Sorry.
Because I find it good to give the disclaimer. Now, if you're not willing to listen to two guys talk about being a Christian or Christian values or anything Christian, you might want to leave. Go ahead, let yourself out. If you don't like anybody talking about woke, if you do want to hear about woke stuff and anything, Gavin Newsom, you might want to leave. That's not going to happen. You might want to leave now. If you don't like right-wing talk, you might want to leave now. Anything else? I think that's about it, right?
No, but I do encourage people to give it a chance because especially with the main subject, I think people will be shocked with what we have to say. We're not those.
Yes.
Society likes to claim the judgmental Christians. It's not.
Right. You probably, if you're watching this, you might have an idea of where we're going to go. And I'm going to tell you right now, as both Dan and I are heavy metal music listeners. And we have.
I absolutely love metal.
What? You what?
I love freaking heavy metal.
I do too. Dan's even more of a metalhead than I am, which is
I listen. It's pretty heavy stuff.
So let's just get started with it. Skillet, who is been around a while. You don't know who Skillet is. Skillet is a Christian band. I wouldn't even call them metal. More heavy rock. More heavy rock.
Yeah.
Been a Christian band for let's see, what did John Cooper say? About 30 years. 30 years, right? Now they just came out with a song that you may know if you're a Christian and it's Christmas time. It's "O Come, Emmanuel." And for some reason, not only people that are not Christians, but a lot of Christian people too are accusing Skillet of being demonic. So this is what we're going to do. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to play it for you. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to play it from you because it would be stupid for you to just take our word for it. We're going to actually play it. So let me share my screen. We'll get this thing going. Let me make sure I'm on the right one here. Hold on. Of course, there's ads. Hold on. Let me go through the ads first. Yeah. There's so many ads. There's ads on top of ads, and I can't even see it.
It's horrible.
All right. So this is a very high-tech show we run here.
Substance,
right?
About substance.
Day Seeker, crawl back to my coffin. No, that is not what we want. What the hell was that? Here we go. Okay.
Fascinating.
What the hell, man? Okay, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and take 4 minutes to listen to this song. If I can get it to share. Okay, cool. So here we go. Skillets, "O Come, Emmanuel." Here we go.
Oh, come,
oh, it's pure evil.
I hear the demons coming up behind me right now.
And ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Oh, come thou root of Jesse free, thine own from Satan's tyranny. From depths of hell thy people save, and give them victory o'er the grave. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
God is with us, He's with us now. Oh, come, oh, come, Emmanuel.
Oh, come thou day spring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
God is with us, He's with us now. Oh, God is Emmanuel.
Oh, come, Emmanuel.
He's with us now.
I don't know about you, but usually when there's a demonic song, they definitely use light. So let's break it down here. Where, if you, okay, try not to be you right now. If you were to say any inkling of demonic entity there, where would you say it's at?
Well, where they're going to say it is about, what, 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
Where it falls off, and then John Cooper lets out that big scream.
Sure.
And then the distorted guitars and the drums, everything kick in. Mind you, the lyrics stay the exact same. That's an important thing.
Yep.
So the only thing that changes is you go from real soft music to more aggressive music because you have distorted guitars and drums and a bass. And his singing changes a hair.
So the only thing that really changes is the presentation of the actual music.
The tone, presentation, and sound of the musical instruments are non-living, amoral things which are not good or evil and are incapable of creating evil or doing evil or creating good or doing good. They are used how a human being uses them, but they are also used just to make sound. Sound is not demonic or evil. The only sound that could be evil or demonic is something filthy coming out of our mouths as human beings.
Right. Which
so that change, people
100% true to the song. There was no differences in lyrics. There was no, you know, subliminal
imagery.
messaging. Yeah.
So the only thing that changed was that, like you said, the sound and the tone and the presentation of the instruments themselves. And some kicked in and they got louder and they changed the tone and the sound.
Right.
And that is, and people don't like that. They don't like the sound. So ironically, this sounds terrible, but they ironically twist it like the devil would into something that it's not, saying, oh, it's demonic, but it's actually just you personally don't like how the instruments sound.
Yep.
There's nothing demonic present in that video. In the lyrics, obviously, it's a hymn, for crying out loud. And the instruments are, like I said, amoral. A good comparison would be money. The Bible does not say that money is evil. The Bible says that what? The love of money is evil.
Mm-hmm.
Money in its own right is a piece of paper. Technically, it has no worth. It has no good. It has no bad. It is incapable of good or bad or harming someone or helping someone per se.
Yep. It's
the love of it, because the love of money gets people to do wicked and evil and sinful things.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's extraordinarily simple, but people choose to exaggerate something. Since they don't like it, they hate the sound of it, so they exaggerate it to the point of saying, oh, it's demonic, which is completely ridiculous. So
I just kind of find it interesting that this song's being picked on like that, because there is a lot of Christian music out there that is like this, that might not get the same kind of reaction. So it's kind of weird how it's being, picked on.
Well,
like that.
If you do kind of dig deep, if you look at someone like Demon Hunter, Ryan Clark, the lead singer, is very, very Christian guy. I think the whole band is. But those guys they dress in a lot of like black. They have tattoos. It's aggressive. It's heavy metal. They've been called demonic. Another band would be like a Christian band called Impending Doom, who's extremely heavy. Brooke Reeves has done numerous videos. The guy is a Christian through and through. But he growls and he yells in the songs, and it's very, very heavy music. They've been called demonic for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
But if you look at their lyrics, most of their lyrics are very pro-Christ, but a lot of their lyrics are very anti-Satan, which is very interesting, which is essentially pro-Christ anyway. But they're called demonic. They have one song on their very first album. It's like a minute and a half long. It's literally just him saying a prayer.
Yeah, right.
Talking about asking Jesus to come back. And then people are like, oh, that's demonic.
Yeah.
There's no discernment there.
Well, and that's a good word. That's a good word, because that's what people need. It's like, anytime something like this goes on, people just jump on the bandwagon. Sorry, I'm kind of messing with this interview. I want to show you guys too. But everybody jumps on the bandwagon. It's like, oh, so one person says it, and then two people say it, then 30, then, it gets to be this big thing. Even John Cooper, which I'll play. I can't find the interview I was researching yesterday, but there's one similar to it. He has been around for 30 years with this band, and he said he was even surprised by the reaction. Yeah. Now, if you've been around for 30 years and you're surprised by your fan base's reaction, now keep in mind too, it's gone viral. I don't know how much they're not a super huge band. They're big, but not like Metallica big.
Right.
So I find it interesting that, it's gone viral and there's a lot of views on it. I mean, it's awesome. I personally, I think it's great. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I think it's fantastic. I love what they did with it. I love how they started it out. They start out with him and the drummer in a church praying basically. And then,
which is obviously demonic.
Right. The light of Christ comes through the church. That was what that was. And then, they're a metal band, a hard rock / heavy metal band. If they didn't put that in there, people would be like, well, where was it? They would have been complaining and crying about that.
Well, right. Well, it's nowadays, especially with the internet, it's a no-win situation. And, if you can go to the scriptures themselves, I think it's in Psalm 105 somewhere where it's talking about worship in heaven with like the clashing of cymbals and all these things, how it's almost like describing like musical worship as aggressive.
Yeah.
And so it's in numerous places. And what happens too is, unfortunately, a lot of Christians, and I've been there, especially when we were growing up Catholic, they want to give ownership to Satan. They want to give things to, let me rephrase that. They want to give things over to Satan, saying that he owns them. And so, like this would be, oh, well, heavy metal is if it's heavy metal with distorted guitars and the lead singer's yelling or using the metal instrument, it must be demonic. It's like, so you're giving an entire genre of music, which there is some heavy metal that's demonic. Slayer, for example, stuff like that, of course.
Sure.
When the whole point of the band is to smear God and to smear Christ. Yeah, of course. But what makes that demonic is those evil things that the singer is saying. Because the Bible's also clear. It's like, it's not the things that go inside you that you need to worry about. It's the evil things that come out, meaning the things you say, the tongue.
Right.
And so it's like, yeah, there is. But again, when Christians cast with a broad net, there's only certain things we should cast with a broad net on. Murder is always wrong.
Right.
Abortion's always wrong.
Yeah.
Stealing's always wrong. Things like that, like a good chunk of the 10 Commandments, I would say, like using the Lord's name in vain, always wrong.
Yeah.
But that's when you cast with a broad net, fine. But you can't cast with a broad net and say, oh, Halloween is demonic from A to Z. Oh, hard rock is demonic from A to Z. Oh, this is demonic A to Z. It's a little arrogant of the person, because they're assuming they know the other person's heart or what that person's actually motivated by. Because that's actually the meat of it, is the motivation of the heart. We don't know. Do those people really know what John Cooper's motivation was with that song? I think I do. I think a lot of us do. He's a great song of praise and worship. But they're twisting it and saying, no, he's motivated to be demonic and prop up the devil. That in itself is a false accusation, which that is demonic.
Well, and it's so unwarranted. It's a completely unwarranted thing.
Well, and non-believers see that, agnostics, atheists, whatever, and they think, well, that's what Christians are focused on. Why are they calling that demonic? Because I watched a couple of videos where non-Christians are listening to that and they don't understand. And now I'm not saying that they're going to understand the scriptures of the Bible and things, but I think they understand the point. It's like, well, the lyrics stayed the same. It's just the music changed. So they're not even understanding it.
Right.
It's finding fault with things that aren't there, as opposed to Christians focusing on the true sin and true demonic things of this world that they should be. Mm-hmm. It's easy to get on there and say, oh, well, that song's demonic, but they're not going to get on there and slam abortion.
Yeah.
One
thing you said is good, because it's like, like I said in the beginning, both of you and I'm not as much into it as I used to be, but I still listen to it. We both are into heavy metal. I mean, if I went to church and they played heavy metal, that'd be awesome.
It would be. But
some music drives people a different way. I still listen to heavy metal before my softball games to kind of get pumped up, jazzed up, And I think if you're taking that and you're applying it to God and you're applying it to worship, I mean, I would love to go to a church and hear that song during Christmas.
Oh, of course.
I think it would be fantastic.
Of course.
No offense to the regular music and that stuff. That's still great. But everybody has that one little button that you push with a certain type of music. And they're like, yeah, that's my kind of music. That's my jam. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That gets me excited. And the whole point of worship music is to get excited, not only for the music, but for what the music's about, which is God. So why would you not do that? I think it's a brilliant idea what they did.
I agree.
It's like, for guys like you and me who are not really, like classical average worship music, that's awesome. I think it's fantastic.
No, I agree. I think what's really going on is, you see this in the secular world and the Christian world too, is people really don't like something. And so what happens is then they're offended by something. And so then they slap the most severe label on it that they can, i.e. racist, if someone says something that's not racist.
Yep.
demonic. It's not
it's always to the
demonic.
extreme.
You know, they hit there. There's an offense there, and that the issue is not with that band. The issue is with the person listening to it and their heart, because they're
Absolutely.
offended
Yep.
at the way the musical instruments sound and the way his voice sounds. That's what's going on,
Right.
and they don't want to hear that. And you know, like we were talking backstage, and Pending Doom did a song about it, but back in the 80s, there was a thing called the Satanic Panic, where they thought this is satanic. There was it was almost like an epidemic in ways where everyone was just thinking like Satan's taking over everything, and maybe he was being propped up in certain ways. But you know, for example, they said, oh well, the checkerboard is now a sign of Satan, or red lighting, or
Right.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand how wicked that is, because you're saying that the devil owns something that God made, like the color red, or checkerboard, which would be you just combine two colors and you're offsetting them in a formation. You're giving the devil ownership of something. He owns nothing. He's defeated. He's a defeated foe. He knows his eternal fate in the lake of fire. And you're going to try to take something from God and give him ownership? I don't care if it's just a color. I don't care what it is. That is truly wicked. That's diminishing God and raising him and raising Satan up.
Yep.
And I just don't think that people think that way. They're offended by something, or they'll do what Hollywood has done, where, in Hollywood, like this is a trope in Hollywood. It has been for decades, where, and especially in horror films, where if you see red lighting, then that means death is coming. And in the next scene or whatever scene, that's just the way they use it. And so they think that what they see in the movies, like what was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, End of Days or whatever, where the devil's able to walk into that church and he's all powerful. It's like, no. You can't go off of what the movies show you, or the movies. Hollywood's representation of Christianity is always Catholicism. It's always the priest, always in the Catholic Church.
Yep.
So you can't go off of that stuff. That's nonsense. Oh, well, this Michael Jackson album had a checkerboard on the cover, so it must be demonic. That's ridiculous.
Well, the other bad thing with that is, it's like everybody will sit here and say how demonic this is, but you go to a Taylor Swift concert. I know I name dropped that witch a lot, but it's true. Flat out demonic, flat out blasphemy. I mean, it's right there. But because of who it is, it's never called on. I mean, it is a little bit more now. Some people are starting to open their eyes to it because it's so extreme now. But it's like that's the double standard. It's like, okay, well, we hear heavy metal guitar, so that makes it demonic. Yeah, we're gonna listen to Taylor Swift, and there's no way. She's a good person. She gave $1 to the camels. That kind of crap. So it's like, that's what also irritates me. It's like, we don't call it out all the time. We pick and choose, and we want to put a stigma on a certain type of music or a certain band or whatever it is, and hope it spreads like wildfire. And now we're in the social media age, so it's gonna spread like wildfire. But all it did here was just make this song huge. It's like number one on everything now. So it kind of got flipped on its head, which I like.
And that's good. Yeah, I mean, because, people just, I think what the real problem here is number one would be two things. Number one is people are offended by everything. That's number one.
Yeah.
Including Christians.
Well, not by everything. They're offended, but they're offended by certain things that they want, that they look out for. They're actively seeking to be offended by. They're not offended by the things they really should be offended by. They're actively seeking anything, Christian, right-wing, Trump. That's what I'm choosing to be offended by. Yeah. Forget that Gavin Newsom killed 50,000 kids or something like that. He didn't.
Well, that's a good analogy, because they can gloss over that.
We'll gloss over that.
Of course. But the second thing would be is, especially in America, the Western Christian is what they would call it, like Western Christianity or whatever. It's portrayed that Christ is like this little teddy bear, that Jesus is just this sweet, love you, little, come everybody, I love you all, no matter, And that is so far from the truth. Yes, he loves everybody. He died for everybody. But love does not exist without truth.
Right.
And love does not exist without justice. Love does not exist without righteousness. He is all those things. He is a God of righteousness. He is a God of truth, and he is a God of vengeance at the end of the day. I mean, Revelation would show that.
Right.
And because there has to be justice and there has to be truth. It's not just, well, I'm Jesus, I love everyone. You're all fine the way you are. Do whatever you want. That's not it. That's not it at all.
You do you, boo.
Yeah, you do you. No. People don't know what love is, and people don't know what truth is.
Right.
Christ came as a lamb, but he's going to come back as a roaring lion. And when he comes back, if you read in Revelation, I mean, he was pretty hardcore when he was here before, but that was a drop in an ocean.
Yep.
God is not to be messed with or to be mocked, and he is a God of wrath to an extent, of love more so, yes, but there will be accountability. It's not just, Jesus loves me no matter what, right? Well, God is love, so now you can justify any action, any behavior. No, there is still wrong and wickedness and evil in the world. There still is a thing called sin.
Which is right.
But and Christ called out everyone's sin. Did he condemn them? No. Just like we're not supposed to do is condemn them. We're not supposed to condemn people. But you can't just say everything that everyone does is perfectly fine, including yourself.
Yeah.
And this
is just further proof that you got to be very careful what you watch on YouTube when it comes to this stuff. Because there's so many, we talked about this last week. There's so many people straying away, leading people astray that are supposed pastors, supposed Christian advocates, all this stuff. More than not, right. Mm-hmm. Right. And
because they preach the lovey-dovey Jesus.
Right.
And this kind of, now that I think about it, goes hand in hand with that song, because when the song is lovey-dovey, it's all nice, people are fun. But then they hear something they don't want to hear, and they get offended. It's just like in the church, when it's preaching lovey-dovey, when those people are being affirmed to how great they are, it's fine. But as soon as the pastor says, but your sin, and questions that person, they're offended, they get mad. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. Yeah. You see the pattern going on.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's just another pattern.
They got to be affirmed as the people, as opposed to affirming God and being humble and bowing before God and saying, I need you, Lord, because I'm a sinner. And they got to have even the music the way, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's always, it's pride-based now that I think about it.
But on the flip side, you've also got, yeah, no, you're right. On the flip side, you've also got the ones that, like I was saying, I think it was last week, that say you got to be perfect. You're going to hell. Like they're completely on the other side. Like you're going to hell for every single thing,
right?
But that also falls in line with this too. This song was perfect until 75%. 75% it was perfect, but the rest, you're going to hell because you put in some screaming and some guitar.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what the context of it was. You did that, so you're going to hell. That's the other thing you really got to watch out for too. That goes on a lot that I've seen on YouTube, and if you watch that crap, you're gonna pretty much self-destruct because you're like, well, there's no hope. I have no chance. This guy's telling me I'm going to hell for every little. I sip my coffee the wrong way, so I'm going to hell for this. So you really got to watch out for that too. Which, like I said, falls in line with this.
It does, and you're exactly right, because that's again where the discernment comes in, because they always mix. The false teachers always mix in bits of truth with the lies. That way, it keeps the ignorant or the semi-ignorant on the line, if you will, like a fish. They're still hooked on the line.
Yeah.
And, because the false preachers will, like you're saying, you have the extremists where it's like, everything's going to hell and everything's works-based. And if you did this, you're going to hell. If you did that, you're going to hell. Well, they're twisting Scripture, because Scripture says that, if all have fallen short of the glory of God. This is true, meaning one sin is the same as a million. Without being made right with the Father, yes, we're all going to hell for one sin or a million sins. That's correct. But we have Christ, who is the living sacrifice made to appease the Father and taken our place to die for all of our sins, past, present, and future. So they're just twisting all the Scripture. Grace is the best news in the world, and that's what I just described. That's grace. So, you know, you have those people that are just everything's going to hell. Then the other people that like, oh, you're wonderful the way you are. You're perfect. God's grace, God's grace. They never talk about the person's sin though. You know, so it's like you need it in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
to,
the problem with
you have
discernment
to be
too.
truth.
Yep, absolutely. The problem with discernment too is a lot of people need YouTube to tell them what to do because they don't have the discernment, and then they get told the wrong thing, and then you're going down the wrong path.
Well,
A lot of people don't even know how to do that, and they're like, "Well, I need social media to tell me exactly what to do," and if they're spreading stuff like this, then you know.
Well, yeah, it's a weird fight for people to pick because the Christian isn't supposed to take offense, you know,
Right.
and it's
Yeah. So let's watch a little bit of this interview. I haven't actually watched this one. The one I was watching, I can't find, but I think this one is close. So let's just kind of watch it. We'll pause it in certain areas, but I just kind of want to get this.
Oh, yeah. You might have to skip ahead a little bit till he gets to
Okay.
John Cooper. I did watch this.
Okay.
Mullet has grown even a little bit longer since I saw you last week.
Yeah.
It's got power strength, power growth.
I'm just trying to get on your level, man. I mean, you know, compared to your beard, mine is so scraggly, and you know, it is what it is. So
Not at all, man.
I can't wait for everybody to see the Christmas special. It's really awesome. We filmed it in Fayetteville. There's a lot of fun surprises involved. But there's also been a lot of people complaining about this. What's going on?
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who was telling me when all this controversy started, and I said, "What's it about?" And she said, "Short version, people are stupid." I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, we got you got to come out to the tour we're on. We did this awesome special. I can't wait for people to see it. It's really heartwarming, and I'm not going to give anything away, but it was meaningful. We'll just say that it was meaningful, and it was giving back or paying it forward, however people like to think of that. And that's the time of the year it is. And we got to show the music video for the Christmas song we did. This kind of started for us about maybe a little bit of a year ago. Some of our fans started saying, "When are you going to do a Christmas song?" And I had never considered doing a Christmas song because of the way I sing. I don't think it'd be that good. And but I was like, maybe we should. And about 3 months ago, I could see my wife Corey, who does our production and guitars and stuff, keyboards. I could see her in the studio. She was like working for days with her headphones. I was thinking, what is she cooking up in there? And she's like, "Hey, I got this idea. It's kind of crazy." And she played it for me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love it." And it was only the first half, which is like the soft part. And we talked about it. She said, "Yeah, so now we're going to have this transition in this metal part come in." And I said, I said, "I'm your Huckleberry. That's just my game." So anyway, so we did that, and it was a lot of fun. The fans love it. It was for Skillet, an instant kind of, big song for us. It was very exciting. But yeah, then all of a sudden there was this crazy, I mean, the internet is
Wild.
The internet can be such a weird place. What you're getting into is just people that feel that you have taken something sacred and made it really evil. So for it's been a long time since we've been called like satanic, but we got called satanic and demonic and all this other stuff. And I was laughing because it's a Christmas hymn. It's not just a Christmas song, it's a hymn. So it was kind of interesting. And unfortunately, sometimes you see kind of the worst of people on the internet, so I didn't really get mad. I was just more like perplexed. And so we commented on it, and I just said, "Look, I'm not mad at anybody. You don't have to like it. I don't even mind if you think it's demonic. It's not. I'll never change your mind. You're not going to change somebody's mind on X. It ain't going to happen." So it is what it is. But you're right. It helped the song shoot up. So bring it on.
Oh boy. Let's hope Oscar's not watching. He would have just gotten
Yeah.
What he
I
said.
think that's pretty much the meat of that one too.
That's pretty much what we were looking for right there. So I'm going to take this off. I mean, he's got a better attitude about it than I do because I heard that and I was like, "That's so freaking stupid." I'm pissed.
Well, it doesn't make. I mean, there's a lot wrong with it, but it doesn't make, at the same time, doesn't make Christians look like they have any kind of priority or really any, like with the joke he said, or really any wisdom or intelligence at times.
Right.
I mean, it's just you're just saying stupid stuff. And
People are stupid.
you're picking a fight over something that is literally nothing when there's real issues in the world. I mean, that Christians tend to bury their head in the sand with, and it's just like, man, that's where you're outrage. I mean, I don't know how you even have outrage as a Christian to begin with, but it just doesn't bode well as far as making Christians look very, very bright. Those
Well,
are
that's
ones
the
I
thing.
would say.
It's like what he said though. They're so dumb. It's like that made it go up. By saying stuff like that, by calling it satanic, demonic, then people are interested and people are going to click on it more. And ultimately, they win in the end, not only due to the fact that they're getting more views and they're getting more people to know what their music is, they're getting the message of God spread to those people who thought it was demonic, thought it was satanic. Well, now you know it's not. So now you're going to listen to the words and be like, oh, wait, I want to know more about this. Where did this come from? How did this come to be? And
exactly. I mean, it's been a God. he always does that where something that's, bad like that, in this case, calling a song demonic when it's not, a false accusation, which is what the devil does. He took it and he turned it for good. And now it got more attention, like you're saying. And then so many more people got to hear at least part of the gospel because of that. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of funny how God works like that. He always does that. And Christians, you'd think they would know by now that that's what he does. And it's just, again, it's focusing on their own offense as opposed to focusing on Christ himself. And that is really, I think that's the meat of it. But again, God turned it on its head and said, no. And so now more and more people have heard the song, and maybe, imagine if God used that song, that version of a song too, to reach somebody. Probably has.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, with that many views and that many people watching it, it more than likely is that's the case. Yeah.
It's just there's just a lack of ability to dissect something as a whole. It's like there's different pieces to all this stuff, and like I said, when you cast with that broad net, I'll use the Halloween thing as an example where people are like, oh well, Halloween's demonic. Well, there's a lot of different pieces to that. Like, is a guy that goes to a party and they're all getting hammered and they're all getting on the Ouija board demonic? Yeah. Is the parents dressing up their 5-year-old as a Power Ranger, walking them around the neighborhood to get some candy, knocking on doors demonic? No. Where's the sin in that? What part of that is evil? Where's the wickedness in that? What is anti-God about that? So that's just as an example. So you have to, that's where discernment comes in. You have to break it down with each activity here, each piece of it. You can't just, gosh, I mean, it's just so silly how people act. It's just, that's like saying all white people are evil. Like,
right. I actually saw a video. It was a guy who claims to be a pastor. He's got some weird, I can't remember his name, but he's got some weird videos. He's out there anyway. Well, this is what a lot of people do too, to get you to really pay attention to what they want to say. They'll bring in some really shady people. This guy brought in an ex-head of a satanic church. Okay, so he's like what a pastor would be to a Christian church, right? And he was asking about Halloween. The whole thing was to steer anybody away from Halloween in any way, any shape or form. And he first came out, and I mean, the guy's got a tattoo of an upside down cross on his head. It's like, I mean, but the thing that he said was so idiotic. He said, the guy was asking him, he's like, what do you think about Halloween? He's like, it's horrible. He's like, let me break it down for you. If your neighbor down the street puts up anything Halloween, he's cursed the entire neighborhood. And it's like that is such, like, that was so,
that's fear mongering.
Right. That was so cool for him
fear
to say that and to steer the ship around. So most people that, again, don't have the discernment you talked about, they're like, oh my gosh, Phil, you got to take down that skeleton. You cursed the whole damn neighborhood. Do you know what you just did? We're all going to hell because of you, Phil. You know, it's like that. And it's like that kind of misinformation is just like, it's dangerous and it's ridiculous because there's more Christians now than ever condemning Halloween. And the demonic stuff I get that with, because there is a lot of demonic stuff with Halloween. That is a thing, like Dan said. But they're telling you, oh yeah, don't take your kids trick or treating. Oh yeah, don't put up any pumpkins, anything like that, because, and it's just like for them to get on there and get an ex-satanic priest or whatever he's called and condemn an entire neighborhood because one guy put up a pumpkin is just crazy.
Well, but here's the really, because I saw what you're talking about and it made me mad. Think about this part of that though. They get this guy on there, uses no scripture, no nothing, and these Christian people blindly 100% believe him and go with him. Don't even question.
Yeah.
There's no scripture comparing it to. There's nothing. It's just, oh, this guy said it. That's the truth. That's it. There's nothing. There's no more questions. There's no breaking it down. No discernment.
Right.
So, but that's there's another guy that was like that. He was in Satanic Church, John Ramirez, which we kind of used to think he was good, me and my friend Jeff, but it's like, no, the guy was just a farce, and he's like, oh, you need deliverance? You need deliverance? Well, join my course, and it's only this much money. It was me.
He's selling stuff. Oh, geez.
Yeah, so people can get deliverance. He's going to charge them.
Yeah, $19.99 to get deliverance.
Yeah, it's like, well, everything you said is just right out the window.
Get
stuff like that, man. It's just
get the premium plan. It's only $39.99. And I guarantee you'll get to heaven with 3 crowns.
Well, think of it this way: the idea of deliverance. That means someone is desperate, where they need to be delivered from something health-wise, or a sin, or a struggle, or an addiction.
Yep.
The top person that you would pray on,
right,
at that point, and those are the people you're praying on. Hey, fork over some cash, Bubba.
Well, because they know they're so desperate, and they know they'll do anything. And instead of having the compassion, you're going to take advantage of them. And that's why we all do it. And again, that's why we talk about this stuff on the show. It'd be like, we're not just going to be, praising Christians and anybody who has a Christian channel or a Christian book or whatever it is. There's a lot of bad Christians out there that will try to take advantage of situations like Dan just said. And it's like, well, I think, in my opinion, we need to call them people out too, because it's like, those are worse than, we have. Yeah,
you have to call it out. I mean, that's, Mike Winger, that's really all he does anymore. And
he's gone. I love it. He's gone total.
Great.
Yeah, he's gone crazy on that, which is great.
Well, he dissected Halloween. He's dissected Christmas and all that. And it's like, the guy is just like, well, let's break this down. And it's like, okay, I don't like that piece of it, but that piece of it, biblically, there's nothing wrong with it. And just down the line, it's very easy to do.
Well, and he does it all in a manner too, where it's a respectful thing all the way around. He's not, he's not like me throwing his hands up and highs and lows and going nuts and being calm in certain areas. He's much better and more even keeled than most people are.
Yeah, his temperament is nice. I do admire that. But it's just, they're so blindly going to listen to some guy, and just believe him and condemn. And it just doesn't bode well for, for other Christians in the Christian church. It just doesn't.
Well,
because the other thing is, like, these same people that are going to say the Skillets song and all these other things are demonic, they are the same people that are like in Joel Osteen's church right now, or Kenneth Copeland's church right now, or Stephen Furtick's church right now, where they are being led completely astray and have absolutely no idea about that.
Yep. Those
are the same people. Those people are on the wide path. They don't know who Christ is at all. And they are that's always those people. But they're going to say, oh, that's demonic. It's like, you don't even know what the words coming out of your own preacher's mouth are demonic.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I was just going to say the same thing. The church is highly to blame on stuff like this, because they don't acknowledge that things like this happen. They don't acknowledge that they don't address a lot of these kind of things that come up. There's churches that refuse to talk about. How many churches have you been to that actually talk about Revelation?
Really none. That's why I like listening. I drop his name all the time is Philip Anthony Mitchell, because he talks about it all the time.
Yeah. Because once again, church is a business, so we got to be careful what we talk about in certain, not all churches, but there's a lot. We're gonna keep the material at a certain level, because if we don't, we're gonna lose people, and then.
Right. I don't know if you remember years ago, Pastor Mark talked about that in Colorado Springs. He's like he talked about the measure of what according to the different churches or whatever organizations it would be, the measure of a successful church would be, I forget, it was like something like how big your parking lot is, how many attendees you have, how big your seating is, things like that. Wait a minute, what? It wasn't, and he ended up like going against it, saying, "Oh man, I thought about that. That's messed up." It's not about like, are people being saved? Are people coming to Christ? Are people finding healing? Are people finding help for, say, alcoholism? I mean, are they getting help from the church? Are they meeting new people? Are they finding friends? Are they being built up within the church? Are they, are they getting biblical teachings? Are they having baptisms? Like, nah.
Right.
None of that. Are they helping others? I mean, whatever it is. No, it was the worldly thing.
Right.
Because if you have more parking, that means you're going to have more people. If you have more people, that means you're going to have more seating. If you have more seating, that means you're going to get more money with tithing, which is also a huge lie, how they have twisted tithing. So it's like, man, it's scary, man. It really truly is. And like this song is just almost a smaller example of it. It's one of the symptoms of a greater problem.
And Pastor Mark, I don't remember when it was. My wife would probably tell me, but it was a while back where he just went off and he just told everything, because he's political, and he told everybody, what his views were and how the church was going to go. He lost like half the congregation.
I think that was like 2016. They had said.
It probably was. That's when everybody started getting.
But again, that's a great example.
He didn't care because he did not care, because he knew it was the right thing to do, and he still does it to this day. He is a pro Second Amendment Texan who supports Trump, and there was plenty of people that did not like that and they left. But it also brought in a lot of people that were good with that.
Well, God provided. I mean,
right. God, right.
You when you tell the truth, you win no matter what the repercussions are, because God will provide through it.
Yep.
You do God's will and you win no matter what, because there's no loss in that, and again, it always boils down to the same thing where people are offended. It's pride. If years ago people got up and left because the gospel was no longer important, it was their political views that were more important. It's no different than the song we listened to. It's, I'm offended at the sound of it. That's more important. Yeah. My offense is always more important. My pride, what I think, what I feel is more important than the gospel, than people, than truth. This is the problem.
And those are the people that should really listen to the words of the song.
Well, they're not that smart enough, apparently, because the sound.
He said it himself. People are dumb at times. So.
Well, I mean, yes, intelligence-wise, sure, but it's a lack of wisdom from God because they don't ask, and it's a lack of discernment. It's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of scriptural knowledge. I mean, I'm no theologian. I need to be better, way better about it too. But they don't even know the basics that they still, you got plenty of people thinking that, as you said earlier, that the more good deeds they do, they'll get into heaven. Like, there's people that literally believe that. That's like the most basic lie. It's like, my gosh,
There's a certain church that teaches that, so it's no wonder they believe it.
Well, outside of Islam, it's the biggest church there is, which would be one Italy.
We didn't name names.
No, well, that one it's trouble too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the lack of, it's also like, for example, I'll use this, the lack of understanding that people have that are Christians. Like, they'll say, oh, you have to get baptized to be saved. Dismas, I think that was his name. Like Mel Gibson said, you know who Dismas was? I think that was his name. The thief on the cross next to Jesus.
Right. Yep.
He was never baptized. He just accepted Christ there. He knew who he was. You're the Messiah. So Christ said, today you'll eat. Well, how did he say? He said, remember me today, or however he said it. And Christ said, well, today you'll be with me in paradise, meaning you'll be with me in heaven. Yep. That guy didn't. We don't know what his life was, but he was being crucified for being a thief.
Yeah.
And so you have to assume, well, he probably had a pretty sinful life there. He wasn't at soup kitchens. He wasn't at getting baptized. He wasn't holding doors open for ladies. I'm not saying those things are bad, obviously, but those things would not have got him into heaven. His acknowledgement and acceptance of Christ and Christ's sacrifice obviously got him into heaven. But him acknowledging and recognizing that, not everything else, because it wasn't what he did.
No. I mean, there's plenty of people who tried to buy their way into heaven. That is never going to work.
No, that's
never
wicked.
going to work.
That's absolutely wicked. Or people that in certain churches that try to pray for dead people to get into heaven. Well, no, if you're dead, the clock is up.
Your grandfather is in purgatory until we have this mass for him.
See, and if you think about that, if that was true, then why did Christ need to come and die? It's weird.
He's not that important. Mary's more important.
See, but yeah, it's always just the lack of, God said it best. He's like, my people will perish due to lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and we're not in a soapbox here. We sometimes we talk and I feel like maybe we sound like we're on our soapbox here. Now, keep in mind, Dan and I both grew up Catholic. We know how the Catholic Church works. We know what it does. We've been there. We were there for a long time. Again, anything we say, it's not because we haven't either seen it firsthand or lived it firsthand or run into it along our lives at some point. I always have to put that disclaimer out too, because people are like, oh, you know what you're talking about. You're talking about trash. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were. Well, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I can say especially in school, middle school, high school, I thought like, oh, if I would talk to another kid and they weren't Catholic, I would just be like, like that James Franco gif where he's like, just so offended and perplexed.
You really fit the judgy Catholic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Didn't you?
Oh yeah. And I lived out Catholicism and. So look, I've been on the other side of the fence too with all that, and maybe, and I know you have too, but maybe that's why we have such the strong desire to speak out against that.
Well, because you realize the desire to speak out against it is you see how far astray it's leading people. You see where people are going by listening to the crap that they're feeding them. And it's like, you don't want any part of that, it's a complete lack of, the focus is more on a church than it is on God.
100%.
And that is completely the wrong way. Talking to my parents and Dan about this yesterday, when you, for instance, when you have a certain religion that requires you to go to church and call the priest father and go sit in confession, kneel to this guy, because that's all he is a guy, and ask for forgiveness of sins. The Pharisees went total apeshit when Jesus tried to do that exact same thing back in his time. Because it was they flipped the list. Who are you to forgive sins? Who is Jesus Christ to forgive sins? Yet they're still doing it. And the whole reason that they even started wanting to crucify him in the first place was because of that, because it was blasphemous to them. Yet we're still doing it. So it's like when you get away from it, the pieces to the puzzle don't fit, and they never will, because it's
No.
not based in Scripture. It's not based in the facts of God and Jesus. It's based on what they want it to be.
Correct. Man-made.
Man,
And actually, you brought up
what religion is first and foremost.
well, all the religions are, yeah, because
Yes.
the Bible is written by man. It's inspired by God. It's
Right.
not a religion per se.
No.
It's literally an action of following Christ, and He changes your life for the better in your heart, mind, and soul. But you brought up the Pharisees and how this video all started with, like, that song and stuff. That's what you're seeing nowadays. A lot of is that Pharisee mentality. It's also known as legalism,
Mhm.
where we point out everything that we don't like and we're offended, and we condemn based on that thing that we don't like and the person that's saying or doing it.
Yep.
And really the main time that Christ got upset in the Bible was when He went in. Was that to the and
He went to
flipped
the
tables.
temple with all the traders and all the
Yeah. And he was most vocal against the Pharisees, called them a brood of vipers and a number of other things.
flip tables. Whole deal.
Yeah, because of what they were doing. It was the religious people.
Right.
And that's the thing that Christ seemed to come against the most, was those religious people.
Right.
And the ones that were condemning others, even though Christ says, and did not, He came into the world not to condemn the world, but to save the world. So He didn't even condemn them, like the woman at the well, for example, told her, go and sin no more.
Mhm.
He didn't condemn her, but you have these people condemning everyone and stoning everyone to death and even, killing Christ. I mean, it's just.
So you see why it's so ridiculous to go into this little room with a screen behind you and have to kneel in front of this guy and say, "Oh, please forgive me. I hit my grandma last night." You see how ridiculous.
Well, he can forgive you Himself, but that does
He can
nothing
forgive all
as
you
far
want.
as-
Yeah.
That does nothing as far as your salvation and the Father's forgiveness. That does nothing. I mean,
Right.
it's all just a formality, and it's just being Catholic. It's not being Christian.
I think it's also a thing. They want the power. I feel to a point they feel like they're above God in a way, because it's like they want to put so much on themselves, make certain people so much higher. I mean, you look at the Vatican and you look at the Pope and the Cardinals and like, oh my God, it's like bigger than Jesus.
They're trying to make themselves more important and make themselves look higher, like you're saying, and it's all a big farce, because no man's more important than the next.
Right. And again, what it's doing, it's leading people astray. That's like the whole point of this entire podcast. It's leading people astray.
Yeah.
Leading people astray to say that something is demonic when it's not. It's leading people astray to say that you need to pay $19.99 for me to deliver you from your sin. It's all this stuff. And who are we accusing of this? We're not accusing the atheists of this. We're not accusing the agnostics of this. We're accusing the people that we used to go to church with of this, because that's who the problem is.
Well, right, and I used to be part of that problem, and I try very hard not to be.
Me too.
Like it's when Christians come off and someone could twist our podcast here and that, like say, well, you're on a soapbox. Like, not really.
No.
They could, when we as Christians we're supposed to, the idea of a Christian is to humble yourself, to be humble.
Yeah, sure.
And realize that you're a sinner and you're lost and you're a complete mess and you need Christ. And a lot of Christians think that, or act, I should say, especially within the denominations, that they're somehow now lifted up and elevated and they're looking down on people and they're better, or they've got it together more. It's like, if you do have it together more, it's not because of you, it's because of God. And that goes for all of us. Yes. And so it's not a good look. And it's something you have to be aware of daily as a Christian. Because I don't sin like that guy, but you sin in other ways.
Everybody
Like
does.
there is a good judgment, but the judgment that God talks about I think it's in Matthew, and it's, do not look at the speck in your brother's eye when you have a plank in your own, is the hypocritical judgment. Oh my gosh, that girl is sleeping around when you just slept with 4 girls last week, but you're going to condemn him for doing
Right.
what you do.
Right.
You can't do that.
Well,
Right.
exactly. And much like when God tells us that we need to go and make disciples, I believe, and I know you do too, you also want to share your experiences with that as well, which in turn means if I've had a bad experience with a religion and someone's considering that, I want to tell them, to warn them so they don't have to go through the same thing, go down the same path. And by the time you're done telling them anyway, they're not going to want to be part of that anyway, because it's so whacked out that they're going to be like, well, geez, is that really what I should do? And you can lead them to a better way. You can lead them to non-denominational. You can lead them to, really, I think that's the best way, non-denominational myself.
Yeah.
But you want to, it's part of love thy neighbor. You don't love thy neighbor by pushing them in the fire. You love thy neighbor by saying, no, that's hot. Come over here.
That's our duty,
Right.
to speak the truth and say, no, that is not a good thing.
Right.
Well, I'm a supportive, loving Christian, so I said, whatever makes you happy. What a sham that is.
No, you're just ballless, and you just want to make everybody happy because you don't like conflict.
Well, then you're not only that, but you're more about appeasing man at that point as opposed to appeasing God. And that you cannot love someone without being truthful to them. It's impossible.
Right.
And so, if you're claiming to love somebody and you push them down a wrong, evil, wicked path that's going to have some really bad repercussions, you don't actually love that person, believe it or not. No, I think you are a girl. I think you should go get some of your body parts removed and take hormones and, all this and that. No, I don't think that's a great idea. Now, come here, Timmy. We're going to get you some unnecessary surgery.
Yeah. I just got a funny text. I'm not going to, but it's just funny.
Because you know why it's funny? Because a lot of this just sounds so absurd, but it's like, it's real life. And
it's real life.
Man.
Yeah.
But people, a lot of the thing too is a lot of people want to jump. I think you alluded to it earlier. They want to jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh, you thought that song was demonic? Oh, I did too. Oh, I did too. Oh, I did too.
Exactly. That's what I said at the beginning.
It's no different than politics. Oh, well, we'll just throw the word fascist around no matter what. And everyone says it.
Yep.
And it's like, you've lost all meaning. You don't know what it means. You don't know why that person is that thing. You don't know what that thing is. You're just trying to be relevant. You're just trying to get man's approval.
It's more important to be
what God says to do.
Right. It's more important to be well-liked or this or that. It's like, well, okay. Well, one day, I hope you guys are holding hands there while you're burning in the lake of fire. So.
Well, you go the way of the devil, you go the way of Christ. I mean, it's very simple. And
that's simple.
And everyone can have redemption. Everyone can be forgiven. There's a chance for everybody. But when we can't own up to the truth and we're going to play these little games, and we're going to have to spend all our day and afternoon and evening destroying a Christian song as demonic. I mean, where is the perspective and the understanding and the discernment and the wisdom and the true seeking of faith in Christ and understanding of Scripture and wanting to be more Christ-like and humble yourself? Where is that in all of this? That's not talked about. It's just, let's affirm me. Me. I'm good. I'm offended. Do what I want. Don't play the music I don't like. Everything's me. Yeah. That's the root cause. And and I do it too, and it's very frustrating. It's just like, my gosh, we need to get over ourselves. We do. We go God's way, not our way. That's the idea of, Dad just sent me a text.
I got the same text.
Yeah. But that's the idea of something that a lot of churches I'm talking about is like the idea of a Christian. You cannot be a Christian truly if you're not humble. because you have to say
Right.
to God, you're bigger than me. I need you. I can't do it. I can't do this. I can't do anything without you. If you can't get to that point, then you're gonna be the person that's going around being a Karen to this and that and this and that and it's just it's just kind of it bugs me. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I mean, I still have people that I know that I might be related to, that I might be friends with, where like we all claim to be Christian, but you can't even talk about scripture with them.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to hear it. It's just what there's just such a lack of real importance for God, even within the Christian church in America. And I'm guilty of it too. But it's just very, I don't mean to go off here, but the more we talk though, it just kicks into me like the lack of perspective to go AWOL on some song. But we're going to focus on that, but we are not going to truly seek the Lord. It's really disturbing in a lot of ways. If you break it down.
Yeah.
The energy and focus and time and effort and everything put into such BS. But we don't give God one thing. Oh, thank you, Lord. Or where's my new car, Lord? Or, he's a genie.
Yeah.
It's like wild. Really.
It's like John Cooper said, though, you're not going to win. You and I can talk about this. We're not going to have anybody on here trying to change their mind, because we're not going to.
And it's not our job to.
The one thing we can do, the one thing we can do, and the one thing you can do if you're dealing with this too, is pray for them. That's really the best thing you can do. The one thing you can do, really probably the only thing you can do. So it's not worth it to get into that. Thanksgiving's coming up.
Right.
I know some people I sure want to be having this conversation with on Thanksgiving. It wouldn't be good.
Well, you know what though?
Praying for them.
Yeah. But for me, it's like I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody. Maybe not Thanksgiving necessarily, but because it's just, you're not going to have a conversation like this maybe with someone that's a non-believer, because they're not claiming the same thing that you're claiming. They're not following what you're following. It's that I think the other thing is people really forget how there's a lot of leeway when you're talking Christian to Christian accountability.
Oh, yeah.
We don't got to be all like playing patty cake and all gentle and sweet over here. Yeah, gentle correction, but you can go a little more into it and be a little more direct, because and it's needed. I think it's just
kind of monitor the thing, see if it's somebody that you could actually have a civilized conversation with. If that's the case, then yeah. But if it's someone who's just like, no, I'm not going to hear it, it's my way or the highway, then
yeah. No, you're right. You're not going to kick in a locked door.
So, all right, well, let's wrap this one up. Good talk as always.
Yeah, that was very good. I like that.
So, I've got a very, very controversial idea for next week.
Bring it.
Christian Zionists.
You'll have to remind me what that is again.
Okay, so there is tons and tons of people, Christians, who fail to understand it is our duty to support the Jewish people. There's tons that are failing to support, to realize how vital it is to support the Jewish people. Like, I have seen so much crap coming out of Christian people's mouths about the Jewish people. So it's going to be a doozy. But I feel
that's a good one.
I feel it's really important, because, man, it really hits when you don't understand something and you try. Once again, it's really going to be kind of this. I think the conversation will be kind of along the same lines as today's, because once again, people have their own interpretation of things.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like we are slowly, not even slowly, we are rapidly running back to World War II with that kind of mentality. The way people think about the Jewish people, the way that people respond to when you say anything like that. So I think we should spend some time talking about that one. I think that'd be a really good one.
Yeah, well, that works for me.
I'll have to do a little bit of research, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, good talk. Everybody that watched, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll be back next week at same time. Talk to you then. Bye. Oh, every time. Hit end stream, it never does it.